Welcome back. In this session we would be rendering objects. So let's step right into it. Open up the camera. Now we don't like how the camera is positioned by default, so to change that we would need to hit N on our keyboard, move on to view, come all the way here to lock camera to view, see the full text, sorry. And then once you don't have this ticked, when you move along it's going to step you out of the camera, and that's not what we want. So you lock camera to view, step back into camera, and then once you move you're going to see your camera moving along. So you could get a closer shot or a wider shot as and when we want it. I like this positioning. And once that is done, we simply have to hit render and then render image. Right, and we have a nice render here. We could just hit Alt S to save to a location, or conversely we could just come here and then just save. Right, now there are two ways to render, actually two engines to render. One gives you a more realistic view, which is known as Cycles, and one gives a more cartoonish view, which we just use, that's Eevee. And the downside to that is Cycles usually takes a longer time to render. Oh yes, and it does not necessarily mean it's absolute that Cycles will give you a more realistic view than Eevee. It depends on what you are doing. So you could just render image, and as you can see, Cycles sort of takes a longer time to render the image. It's ready and you can save. Now let's switch back to Eevee, and then let's step out of our camera. If we need to export everything we have here and then send to a friend to manipulate on their own, all you need to do is just come to File, go to Export, and then select a format. Usually it's advisable to pick FBX. That would compile everything including the textures, and you can export it to a location of choice. Once you sent it to your friend, he would only need to export this. We would only need to come to File, go to Export, and then pick an extension format. Usually I would advise going with FBX. That would compile everything including the applied materials and textures perfectly. And if you're exporting a printable object that you designed, it's advisable to go with STL. And once it's at its location and then you need to get it back into Blender and work on it, all you have to do is import and then just find the format, go find it in your material. So let's export this FBX. Let's pick a location, let's probably save it to desktop, give it a name, Jack-O-Lantern, and then write on export.